And only then did it dawn on me two key things here. Number one, we're already Number one, we're already outside.
Did you see that fight outside while they're outside? Right?
What are you talking about? Number two, we're at a cancer walkathon.
Oh my God.
So the look of concern.
Who's fighting at that? Did you hear about the throwdown at the cancer walkathon? People are throwing hands.
They're like,
for
what?
Cancer.
Yo, who's fighting? We have to stop this.
What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Modern Flirting Podcast. Hey, Albert, I'm excited that we have Jared in a hot seat today.
Yo.
We have him in a hot seat. We're going to be asking the $1 million questions and putting him through fire. How do you, are you excited about this, Albert?
I know a lot of Jared's origin story, and I think that the listeners are in for a treat today.
You have like the true, like you have a real true underdog story.
Yeah.
And like your story is freaking amazing, man. It's at times I wonder if it's real. I'm like, this is like out of a movie.
And there's stuff you're gonna. I think Albert heard of all. Maybe some stuff on cover because, like I said, this podcast has been therapy for us. I feel like so much stuff, even things that I never heard from Albert before. So maybe some new stuff comes up for you. But I definitely have some things I think you'll find interesting.
I just want to get into this real quick. Albert, do you know how we met?
I don't know. How did you guys meet?
So Jared was stalking me on Facebook for about a year and a half. He would DM me, "Hey, do you want to come on do you want to come on a podcast? Do you want to do a video together? Do you want to collab?"
Hard.
Just he kept coming after me, and I kept ignoring him.
Played a little hard to get, didn't you? There,
like after a year and a half, he caught me in Miami with my grandma. I had nothing to do, and he's like, "Hey, I see that you're in Florida. I see that you're in Miami. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I have girls. Do you want to come out?" I'm like, all right,
you
fuck
really
it.
slid in Kosmo's DMs to get
everything. I utilized every resource. He started knowing Hypnotica. I started calling him favors of Hypnotica, like, yo, get me on a podcast with him.
In getting it
because I saw it. Well, number one, a little fanboy from the show. I'm like, this is Cosmo from the show. But number two, I started seeing his ads at the time. So I'm like, yo, he might be making a comeback. There's a newcomer. I didn't understand his funnel, but that's a whole other thing.
Me neither.
I'm
like, what are we selling here?
I'm like, his ads are really good. I don't know what's happening after that. I don't understand the business model after, but his ads are really good. And so I was just like, yo, this guy, I don't know. I mean, he was talking Dan Bilzerian. I'm just like, this, and I know most of the dating coaches. I'm like, I never met Kosmo.
Right.
So I'm like, let me see what he's about. I want to get on this.
Interesting.
Yeah, and something that we were talking about is I really do pride myself in not knowing that many dating coaches or pickup artists. I dislike them.
Right.
And, meeting Jared and meeting you guys are very refreshing. You're not like what the normal dating coaches are. So, but yeah, we ended up meeting through, he was stalking me and I went to go meet him. And right when I opened the door, instead of talking about
harsh word,
like how many girls we slept with or, what you're doing, I kneeled down, I went to the floor and I started petting Cupid for like 5 minutes. And it's not like what alpha dating coaches coach, right? Like why would I be an alpha and, bend over?
Right.
And yeah, that's
kiss his little dog and play with his dog.
And that's what I love.
Took him out to the hub. He's wearing like gym shorts and like
yeah, it was beautiful. Before we get into your story, where did you guys meet again?
So I was literally on stage. I don't know how. Maybe it was before, but my first memory of Albert was I was doing a speech for our local chapter, in Florida called Alaire back then. And I saw him in the crowd, but I must have seen your face or maybe a picture or something that Dan showed me. And I remember like, oh my God, that's Albert in the flesh. He's watching me do my lecture. I got to meet him and train him because he's going to be our new coach. And it was like a working relationship.
This is how impactful it was. I remember what he and I were both wearing.
Oh yeah, you had the hat, the brown hat,
and I had
a jacket.
At a light orange V-neck and these white dress shoe things. And I remember this guy was a killer speaker. And I'm like, this is fucking psych. Oh my God. And I was like intimidated to go up to him after like we met, like, cause we worked for a company together called Miami, named Miami Dating Coach in 2008, I believe 8-9.
Late 2008.
Maybe early 9, but yeah. And yeah, I met him and I was like, I think you were threatened. You thought that I was going to like tell on you.
Yeah. I was really like, cause at the time I was learning from another, like a bigger coach. So like Albert's like trying to get into the local scene. I'm trying to go into the global scene.
Yeah.
And at the time I'm like, he's going to tell my local guy, If I mention, I'm like, did I say his name? Did I say Adam's name in a speech? Is he going to blow my spot? He's going to be loyal to Dan because Dan's his boss, not me. I'm just training him. So I was like very paranoid. So I was nervous meeting him, and he was like nervous meeting me, but for totally different reasons. Right.
And when was this? What year?
Late 8, early
9. Probably early 9, I think.
Good, yeah.
So 13 years later, here we are starting a podcast. You guys flying across America, doing a boot camp together, working together in modern flirting. Life is fucking crazy.
Wow.
Life makes no sense sometimes.
Butterfly effect, man.
Speaking about making life not making any sense. So what was your childhood like, Jared? Like what were you as like an elementary student?
So I'll give you the kind of the play-by-play. Now, I've probably done this talk and speech of a lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews. I'll give you the play-by-play, but I don't think I've ever really gotten deep into it, which I hope we can do here and give you guys an insight on this. So my entire childhood, I was always the shortest kid in the class, the fattest kid in the class, not athletic. Even amongst in Jewish private schools, I was a nerd. Like, that's hard. That's tough to do. All right, that's a testament by itself. Early on, my dad's teaching me how to play. Like for him, it was like poker. Probably it was like poker. For me, it was like I was learning chess, comic books, learning cool poker cards. I'm learning like Magic: The Gathering in high school and whatever. But like growing up, I was bullied hard. I was picked on a lot. I remember walking through the hallways in like middle school. And the kids would be singing the Oompa Loompa song wherever I went.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it was.
He's a underdog's a perfect word. I don't know if you know this, Cosmo. You know that he's adopted.
Oh yeah, I'm adopted as a kid. Talking about abandonment issues. My mom literally left me.
He was adopted as a kid, and he was, if not given a certain like steroid, had a potential to be a dwarf.
Yeah. So I was the show.
What?
Yeah. So I was, well, I'm a dwarf, but I mean, I was a little harsh, but I probably would be 5'4". I would probably be around there. I was always the shortest kid in my class, right? But now I'm like average height because, and God bless my mom. You know, we made fun of her in an earlier episode, but this is my mom. She saw I was getting bullied because I was always the shortest kid. And this is in the 90s. Yeah. This is like very cutting edge shit. She took me to a doctor, like kept going specialist after specialist to be like, how do I help my son? And she found one who would inject me every day. She would put a needle in my arm with human growth hormone, HGH, human growth hormone.
Prescribed HGH so he wouldn't be undersized. So
and it made me grow. It also gave me a bigger head, but a little bit but whatever, a bigger something else, you know. And yeah, and like literally, if it wasn't for that, the direction I was going, I started in middle school, and for 2 years, I was on it until I stopped growing, but I'd probably be like 5'4" without it.
The thing that you make fun of your mom about being so paranoid, me and Albert making fun of your mom being so paranoid is one of her best gifts. Because her being paranoid actually got you to be a whopping 5'10".
She kept me safe. She kept me educated.
Shout out to Jared's mama.
Yeah.
Like I wish I got given steroids to be 6 inches taller. I'd be freaking.
Oh my god,
right? Dude, that's a
incredible.
So God bless my mom and my dad. You know, he was there too. He was helping. I don't want to forget dad. Yeah. But yeah, so they helped me out with it. But I was always bullied and picked on. I was thrown into a trash can once. The fattest kid for some reason in high school or middle school would beat me up, or I would get in fights. I held my own. I kind of like, scrap back. That was one good thing. There's something else. Again, shout out to my mom. She taught me, she's like, if you're ever getting bullied or someone's fighting with you, you fight back with everything you got. You don't just take it. You don't just like cower.
So you would fight back?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I would lose, but I wasn't just like whimpering. Like I remember like one guy like grabbed me by the neck, threw me against the wall, was choking me. I grab a pencil and I stab him in the back of the head.
Wow.
I don't really consider that being picked on, my brother. I feel like someone that gets picked on is where they will choke you and then the guy just doesn't fight back. Well, I feel like you were a target, but dude, that's all you fought back.
I would fight. I had pride there, but picked on. I was teased. I was made to cry. I went home in elementary school. My mom would every day I'd come home crying because the kids would always be teasing me. So when I met, someone like Albert, was like, teasing's how we show friendship. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It takes a lot of convincing because that was not my experience.
Right.
Like, these were not my friends. Like they were calling me like, yo, Buddha belly and do. Like it might as well have been that, what's that show? It's a truffle shuffle. What? You know what I'm saying? God damn it, with the kid, the Goonies.
The Goonies, yeah.
I might have been like a fat kid, like throw the shuffle, like this. That was me growing up as a kid, right? Like I was kind of a class clown, so at least I got. But because that's my only way of getting any attention. I would like crack jokes usually at my own expense. And
you were in like production, right, Jared? Like not choir, but like the
Singing Sons. So I was in choir. I was in the Singing Sons. I would try to get on Broadway.
I just got a visual of that.
I was the theater geek. I was a theater geek. I was Danny's, and of course they make me Danny Zuko in Grease. Like one of my first plays because I was like a good singer back then. And my biggest critique I kept getting from the director of the show was like, but this is Danny Zuko. You got to play cool. You're playing a cool character. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, man. I don't understand. I'm not cool. And like that was the thing. They're just like, you can sing well, but like have some swagger. And I'm like, what the fuck is swagger? Like I literally had no idea. I couldn't do it. So enter high school, right? And this is after abuse and being picked on or whatever. Freshman year, this elite girl, I remember. So I'm like, I'm smart. I'm a straight A student, or a B plus maybe. And this girl, I offered to do her math homework if she would give me a hug. All right, and I'm like, I'm going to use my brains. I'm going to get some action for this. And she agreed to it. She's like, all right, yeah, do my homework, and I'll give you a big hug. I'm like, say less. So
this is Cosmo. That is the earliest version of inviting a girl to your bottle service table. It's like bottle service. The bottle of Grey Goose is math homework, and exchange her. That's the earliest version.
I got your
of transactional value.
So here's the transaction.
So true.
I give her the homework, and I literally go like this, big grin, and she goes, "I think I'm okay."
Oh, a fucking hug, not a hand job. A hug? Really?
A fucking hug, bro.
What is her name?
Galit. Saffras.
Can you imagine?
Wow. I still remember her name. I think she's married. So good job, Galit. Then sophomore year comes, right? Second year. By the way, I only had 2 friends in this entire school, which I think you might have met Chase and Jonathan. I don't know if you ever met them or heard about.
Yeah, I met Chase.
Met Chase. I was like, Chase and Jonathan are my only fucking friends.
This is Miami?
Fort Lauderdale, Plantation, yeah, South Florida. And I know of these house parties going on in high school, but I never got an invite. Chase gets invited, and he invites me. And he's like, yo, we got a house party. This girl Amanda's throwing a house party. Come with. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to a house party. This is awesome. I'm like, I don't know what you want. I'll do anything. I'm like, I'm ready to clean up the house for her. I'm so excited to be there. It's like, first time going to like a Vegas nightclub in my mind. I get there, following Chase. Amanda greets us at the door, looks at him, looks at me, looks at him, and goes, "Why the fuck did you invite Jarrett in front of me?"
Come on, man.
Swear to God, in front of me,
dude.
It wasn't even hiding it. This wasn't even a hidden thing. I'm just like, okay.
And then what do you respond there? Oh, hey, man, good to see you.
Can I do your math homework and give me a hug? Like,
I already got dropped off, so I had to still enter. Like, she at least let me come in.
Wow.
And I'm just like sheepdogishly, like it was the first time I had drank a beer. I'm just like, all right. And then I ended up sitting on a couch with like some other nerd guy. We're talking about the sensations of being drunk. Like this is like just nerdy. So like, do you notice the tingle? Like that was all I did. We just talked about like literally like do you notice the distortion of your dizziness? Like we're just nerding out on a sensation of alcohol.
In college, I went to my first party I went to, Jared. I actually saved my first beer bottle. And I took it from the party. And my buddy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is my first beer. I want to save the bottle.
It was
the dorky things that we think of when you're like young and don't have it.
Meanwhile, there's these guys like talking to girls at this party. I've made something as money can out. It's sophomores. Like we're like 15. Man. And I'm over here. I'm just like, yo, this is like, you call them fingers, but have you ever seen them fing? Like, what is like? I'm just like making shit up here. So anyway, so at this point, the jig is up. All right, like everyone in my school knows that I'm undateable. I can't get a date. It's not gonna happen. And I've accepted my fate. Junior year comes, enter Gabby. Gabby came over from South Africa. She just came into school, and they happened to have her sit next to me in whatever class. I forget the name of the class, whatever. And they assigned her to me for me to help her with her work, because I'm like the smart one. And I'm just like, holy shit, like this girl's like not bad looking. Like she's kind of pretty, and she doesn't know about my reputation. She's a year older than me. So because she's a senior and I'm a junior, she doesn't talk to the kids in my class too much. It was like a perfect storm of like meeting the girl. Like I'm planted with her. She just came into the school. She doesn't know. She's not hanging out with my friend, my classmate, because she's a year older, right? So
she doesn't know.
She doesn't know. So the only interaction she has with me and anyone in my class is one class that they put the junior and the seniors together. I don't know why, but it was the only interaction she had with me. And because I'm next to her, I don't know how I got the courage for this or whatever. I swear to God, a year goes by, or not even. Maybe that's exaggerating. Like 4 months go by, where she was sitting next to me, and I would run my finger. If this was her back, I just run my fingers up her back, like this. So while we're sitting there, I'm just like doing like light back scratch while we're doing the work together. And it was like the happiest, like I looked forward to this class every fucking day, because that was the day I got to sit next to Gabby, just letting my fingers run up and down her back. And I'm like in heaven, and I'm like, this girl's letting me touch her, and she doesn't mind. This is insanity. Like, Brent, our producer, was talking about like yesterday, like you're at a table and like remember your arms touching your girl's boob, and you're like, this is awesome. I feel like the man. That was the feeling I had. Like literally, it was that, but like touching this girl's back because she didn't know. She just let me get away with it. So 4 months, we don't talk about anything other than our work, our homework, or whatever. And I'm just finger scratching her back and whatever. And I think the teacher said something. I think the teacher was like, "You guys are cute together," or like God bless this teacher. Like she's like being a good wing woman.
Good wingman, yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Wingmanship. Yeah, she's like setting me up. And I guess I got the courage to like ask her out one day. I'm just like, yeah, you know, I like you. You seem really nice. We should date her, you know, if you want. And she's like, yeah, you seem sweet and nice. And I'm like, I got my girlfriend. So we became a girlfriend. And we dated for a year and a half. I met her family.
This is sophomore.
I'm junior. She's a senior. All right.
Okay.
So I'm a junior. She's a senior. All through the end of junior year, we're dating her. Now into senior year, I'm still dating her. So like a year and a half or whatever. Early junior to like half of senior year. And I meet her family. I drive out. But now here's the thing about Gabby though. She comes from Orthodox Judaism, not a cult. And
I never said Orthodox Judaism was a cult. I'm not sure where that point.
Well, the last girl was from ultra Orthodox one.
He was talking about his ex. His last ex.
My last ex, you said it was a cult, but whatever. That one is kind of culty, but whatever. So I'm meeting her family. She doesn't believe in premarital sex. So of course that means I don't believe in premarital sex now. So all we did, I became the king of dry humping Gabby in my car, my Toyota Camry, my silver Toyota Camry. We would drive. It was like this was my most hopeless romantic of all time. Like we're in the car, I'm just dry humping her and making out, and it got steam. The whole car got steamy. It was like literally the movie Titanic. You know, like where they're in the car and the whole thing steams. We would get all steamy there, and we'd like make little hearts on the glass, whatever. For her birthday, I went online. I got my parents to give me money. And I got her a star. I bought a star and I named it after her. So to this day, there's a star in the sky called Gabby Sparkle. All right. I pledged myself to her that she'd always, you know, I'd get married to this girl and whatever. And she was very, you know how you be like a good Christian boy. But I was like, good Jewish boy, like very like straight edge, get grades, get married, blah blah blah. And then at the end of it, it started like just fizzling. It just became very routine, monotonous. My first experience of getting too comfortable with the girl. And we broke it off. You know, we went through that whole like, it's a break, but we're not broken up. But like, we know how that goes. Yeah. So we went through the break. In 2 months, she met another guy and started dating him in 2 months after that. And within 1 month of dating him, she lost her virginity to that guy. Ugh. After me dating her and pledging myself for a year and a half.
So you put all the coins into the slot machine, and then that guy sat down and put 2 coins in
coins,
and hit the jackpot.
The mega man.
Well, she's in college now. I'm still in high school. So I'm a senior in high school. She's in college, and she met some like 8 years older than her in college. And I'm like, what chance do I
Those
have?
older men.
Those older guys. I mean, I didn't know at the time. I'm like, ew, how does this guy? He wasn't even that good looking. He was like a Homer Simpson looking motherfucker, but whatever. He had game.
It was an upgrade from you at the time.
So anyway, so I'm heartbroken. I am legit like, fuck, you know? I had my parents, I'm depressed. I'm taking Zoloft. I'm going to a therapist, a hypnotherapist, to make me try to forget. And I told her, I'm like, I'm going to get hypnotized and forget about you. And she said, well, don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, stop. And I pretended I was, even though it didn't work. I pretended to, just so I can get some kind of reaction out of her, because she just wasn't caring anymore. I was just trying to like, I just kept trying to win Gabby back. And I just became the most needy. I just kept doing things to try to win her affection. Even when she broke up with him, I'm like, this is my chance. And one time she kissed me and then told me like, that was a mistake now. And I'm like, can't get this girl back.
So how long were you actually pursuing her after she broke up with you?
Probably like a year and a half, not a year and a half, probably like a good year. It went through senior year of high school and into college. And then finally kind of like, I'm like, all right, enough's enough. She found another guy.
So then what happened after that?
So back to being undateable. All my friends have lost virginity. They don't know I'm still a virgin.
And then you have your prom coming up too, right?
I have my prom coming up. Well, so here's my thing. At this point, not forget Gabby, but at this point, I'm looking around. Everyone lost virginity. And everyone assumed I lost it to Gabby. So I lied. You know how you hit it? When your background, like everybody thought you were this cool guy and you hit it. I was hiding the fact that I was a virgin, and it was eating me alive. I was just like going crazy. I'm like, I'm going to die virgin. I'm going to die virgin. I'm freaking out. So prom comes up, and this is right after like American Pie, where like
oh God, the worst timing ever.
Oh yeah, and I already tried fucking the pie, so that did nothing for me. So like I know, I'm like, okay, look, I've seen American Pie. This is the time to lose my virginity. I go on MySpace, and I'm in no one's top 8, by the way. I was very upset. And I find, remember that the top, there was such a thing.
Love the top 8.
I was such a thing back then. So I find this girl, what's her name, Liz. She seemed nice enough, pretty girl. Very pretty for me. I mean, gorgeous for me back then. Now she's a pretty girl. And she never went to prom before. And obviously she's not from my school. So I don't know how the fuck I met her, or how that worked. But anyway, she was interested because she's like, I didn't get to go to my prom, so I would love to go to yours, right? So I invite her. She comes with me. I'm all excited. I drive, I'm freaking mad. I'm like, this bitch. I drive an hour north. She's in, where is she? Like West Palm Beach. I'm in Plantation, so South Florida. She's like an hour north of me. And the prom is in Miami. So I go from like here, I go from like Central Dot, an hour north to drive 2 hours south. I pick her up. We do the like corsage and the pictures. Her mom is like, oh my da. And I'm like, yeah, this is my date. I'm going to fuck her later. Don't you worry, mom. We got an after. There was an after
party.
You
had that level of confidence?
I was blind faith in the magic of prom night. I'm like, prom night, guys get laid. I thought it was like a transaction. Like I take you to prom, we have sex. Like that's
understand the arrangement.
Yeah, I'm like, this is an arrangement. Like this is.
It's so funny during these to see everyone's different level. Like it's like they always say like the guy with no shoes or the guy with no feet is jealous of the guy with no shoes or whatever, vice versa.
Yeah.
Like in my head, what I'm thinking now is like, I can't believe Jared had a car in high school. I didn't drive in high school. I'd never had a car. And I'm like, I can't believe he was assuming he was going to have sex with this girl. Like, I never even thought about that confidence.
I promise you, I thought the same thing. When you were saying that, I'm like, I didn't have a car. I didn't go to prom.
Yeah.
No girl even, I couldn't even fake it. I thought the same exact thing.
I'm like, he's like, I'm making out of my car. I'm like, Jared was a rock star compared to me at that age.
I mean, my parents were like upper middle class. So like if I needed money, like they were like, here's money to buy her a star. Yeah. Here, you want a car? Here's a car. And I'm like,
I didn't even have a driver's license. It wasn't a money thing. I didn't have like the confidence or drive to go get it. I didn't get a driver's license until after I graduated high school.
It's a thing. You're like, you got it. It was a status thing. It was like in the culture.
That's how far behind I was. My grandpa was like, you don't need one, better. Continue.
I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, here's how spoiled I was. I was like, this car sucks. I told my parents, I'm like, yo, I need to get rid of this Toyota. So in senior year for this, they like, here is a Mazda 6. I'm like, this is acceptable. This is better. And I had a Mazda 6 for
You had that Mazda 6 forever, man.
for a while. I liked it. It's a good car. Hey, I stand by that. It's a good car. I like that car. Anyway, I'm not hating on Mazda 6. Yeah. Toyota Camry, that was awful. Awful. I got it in sophomore year. Anyways, I don't know how this got to a car talk. So I picked this girl up. We go all the way to prom. Super excited. I'm going to show her off. I'm like, I'm going to walk in there. Fuck you. Fuck all these people. I'm undateable. Who's undateable now, bitch? I got this random girl you never saw before. What? I'm going in there hot and cocky and confident. I'm feeling good. She instantly recognizes this other girl she knows, Leia. I know all I remember names, Albert. I can't remember names.
This is your drama.
I had, you know what I did? To put in new information in my head, I had to get rid of something. I guess the names was it. I'm good at, I can remember all the names back then, but she runs into her friend Leia, and I'm invisible the rest of the night. She's like, I got a friend. Fuck this guy. I know somebody. And I'm just like, cool. Like, I don't care. Go dance with Leia. We're going to go to the after party, and it's on, we're gonna bounce around. And I take her to the, so we go to that. So prom ends. I don't give a fuck. I'm hanging out. We go to the after party, and this girl smokes. I'm like, ew. To this day, I'm still like, ew. Sorry, if you smoked.
Was it weed or cigarettes?
Cigarettes.
Got it.
It was, yeah, bad. So we go outside. She's going to smoke. I'm like, I don't want to be around her smoking. I'm gonna go inside. I'll check back on you. I'm gonna get a drink. I go back inside. I come back outside with the drink. And there's Daniel sitting next to her, talking to her. Now, at this point, I'm like, yeah, but she's my date. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to play cool. I'm going to lay back. I'm going to let her do his thing. He'll front out. Here's the drink, hon. I make sure to pat her or something so he knows. I don't know. I go back inside, give her some time. I'm like, she's not coming in. Like, where is my date? I go back out. She's still talking to him. And now he's getting her number on his phone. And I'm like, this motherfucker. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm like, this motherfucker. You know Jean Thomas, my oldest childhood friend. You know Jean?
John Thomas.
Yeah. So this is like my oldest friend today, like from kindergarten, right? He's there, which makes no sense because he didn't even go to the high school at the time, so I don't know what the fuck he's doing there. But I'm like, John. I looked at him like, you gotta be my wingman right now. You gotta be my brother. Go in there and tell her I'm leaving, and she needs to get the fuck because we have a hotel for the night that we have to be spending it, right? So I'm like, you gotta tell her I'm leaving to go to our hotel, and she has to come. She has to come. Like, go grab her.
You had a lot of confidence for a guy with no skills. Hotel room, like the whole thing.
Again, this is just money.
I agree.
Well, yeah. I'm just like, I had a plan. You know what the confidence was? I had a plan. Take her to prom, after party, hotel room, condom. Like, it was a plan. And I'm like, nothing, this whole plan is not working. Like nothing's going to plan. And I'm very pissed because I just had this vision. I saw the movie. And so John goes in. I'm waiting. He comes back out and he goes, just leave.
Oh.
And I'm like, I can't. I'm a ride. She's 2 hours north of here. Like, what do you mean just leave? He's like, bro, I don't know how to put this, but Daniel just went into the bathroom and she followed him in there and they locked the door. Oh, man. And I'm just like, ooh. I'm devastated. It's like the Gabby thing. It's like in a moment where at this point, I'm still pursuing Gabby loo. But I'm like, let me at least lose my virginity. I'm like, again? Can I not get a break again? So I left. To this day, I don't have it here. Back home, I still have her prom dress. I still have the dress.
How do you have her prom dress?
She left it in my car. I left her. And we changed for the after party. And I never got rid of that dress as a reminder to remember where I came from. So when we go back to Florida,
a lot of people don't know this, but when he's having a hard day, he'll put it on.
I'm trying to fit back into it again. Oh, a future. This is a real story. This is
oh my God, dude.
True story with this dress. I once dated a girl later in college. It's a good dress.
Little known fact, people don't know.
It's a pretty good dress. Fast forward later on, a girl I'm dating needed a dress for some shit, and I'm like, I got one if you need it, and she fit in, and she wore the dress. This was my girlfriend at the time, like years and years later, and I'm like,
This could have been
crazy.
his life could have gone in a really weird direction.
Dude, this could have been. Yes.
You're a couple bounces of the ball from you being known for a lot of very different things. But okay. So I'm sorry. So your prom date bailed on you on the night of your prom for another man.
And the next day, I come back in school. I've never had my life more like a movie than that. It was, you know, those movies where like the guy walks
Everyone
in,
knew. Everyone in school
everyone
knew.
knew.
Oh, man.
As I'm walking through the halls, they're all whispering. Like they would stop. People are whispering, looking at me, snickering.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, everybody knows. And I found out that day, Daniel lost his virginity that day to my prom date.
Wow. Damn it, Daniel.
Fuck Daniel.
And then Brandon, producer, met Daniel. We ran into him, like, what was that, a year ago? Not even? Not even. So he got to meet Daniel from he's heard this story a million times. He actually got to meet Daniel. And shout out to Daniel. I know I've no hatred, whatever, to Daniel. You know, he's.
I was about to say that it's not the guy's fault at all.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't do anything wrong. It was,
Honestly, thank you, because if these series of unfortunate events didn't happen, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know, like these are all these. But this is what's crazy is all of these moments I'm sharing with you are all the stories I like vowed never to tell. That I was gonna hide my entire life.
I'm not gonna tell anybody, but now you're like, let me broadcast.
Yeah, let me
all over the
broadcast,
internet.
like laugh at my pain or live in my pain, like. But it's not pain anymore, and like now I'm thankful for these things.
So fast forward after this obviously traumatic incident happened.
Yeah.
You obviously feel terrible in school. How did that affect you going into college? Like, where was your mindset?
Movies again. I go to my dad, and my dad's like, "Yo, things are gonna change for you in college. Don't worry about high school. High school's for pussies. College, you know, like college you'll figure it out. Every man finds himself in college."
So you left high school like happy to leave.
Yeah. Oh, I
As a
couldn't.
departure.
It was like getting out of prison.
Right.
It was like getting out of
I get a
prison.
clean slate.
Yeah, I'm like, I can start a new life. You know, I'm going through college. I start a new life. I meet new people. I'm gonna. It's like I get a redo.
Yeah.
You know.
how far was your college from high school?
What do you mean?
Half an hour.
I mean, different
Distance-wise?
city. Yeah.
Oh, different to Boca. So it's
Got it.
Yeah,
so
30
it's
minutes.
not like the same neighborhood. Same
No,
From Fort
everything-
Lauderdale to Boca
it's a
Raton, half
fucking
an hour
reset.
in Florida.
Okay, got
Total
it. So like
reset.
half an hour. Got it.
Bombed the reset. Fucked up the reset. Because I went to college, and again, the movies are like, you should join a fraternity if you want women friends. So I pledged for this fraternity. They make me rap, which I thought that part was funny. They make me like freestyle rap in front of random girls. I'd embarrass myself, but I'm like, I did okay, I think. They would throw stuff in my face, drinks in my face, make me drink nasty like beers where they pour like ketchup and mustard and shit into it, mix it all up. They would belittle us. They would strip us into our underwear and shit. We'd have to like serve them and do like all the pledging stuff. All this stuff's true for the fraternities. And after all of it, I can still like quote the fucking Greek alphabet. They like drilled it into us: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, theta, eta, iota, theta, lambda, lambda, mu. Maybe I can't do it, but like they would drill into us. And after all of that, of all the pledges, I was the only one to like, yeah, we don't think this is going to be a good fit. We don't think we don't think you should join this fraternity. And I'm like, I'm willing to give you money, and I just went through fucking Hell Week and all this shit, and I'm getting turned down by the frat. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know you could get turned down. I'm like, I'm a pledge. So I'm like, I got no outs. It's over. And yeah, I was just in a, you know what the password to the password to my computer was in college? Do you know this?
No.
Eat cock.
I was Albert. I was like, eat cock. Basically, so. And I didn't know anything about mantras. I didn't know anything about affirmation at this time. This was just truly what I wanted to put as my password and whatever. It was life sucks.
Oh, dude, you're killing me right now, Jared.
That was literally
Dude, this is fuck.
So
man.
every time you enter your computer, you start with
life sucks. It was I didn't know anything about like mantras or whatever. I'm just like, this feels right. Life sucks. Put it in there. That was my password. Every day I would sign it.
I think it's interesting, Kosmo, as we go through these journeys and everyone's origin stories based on something different, right? We arrive at similar internal feelings from very different places. Like where, we can hear Jared's story And it's like he was the guy. He was Charlie Brown, right? He was like he had that thirsty.
Charlie Brown.
He was. He had that thirsty. Like you were thirsty. You wanted it. You had a plan. You're like, I'm gonna take a girl to prom. I'm gonna enter a fraternity.
I was like, I'm gonna kick that football. It's gonna work this time.
It's gonna work this time. And then they just life kept taking it away from you. Yes. Whereas like, I think for Kosmo it was different. He was more denial based, right?
Yeah.
And I was more just purely fear. Like I was like a fearful guy, which is interesting because like now my whole thing is like, fuck that. I have no fear. But you were like
in a plane crash and I'm fine.
Yeah, I've like literally gone full circle on that where I like I make a lot of jokes about like courage and like trying, but you were I think your case is very different and you kept so how did you have all these failures back to back to back. Now you're in college, your redo's not going. What was like what's the next step here? Like where did you go? Like what did you turn to? What was your next life saver?
The lifesaver was in college. I don't know how I was dating this girl, Kat. I don't know how. I just maybe fortunate. I think she was on we had dorms and she was like on the dorm or something. I don't know, but luckily I was dating this girl, Kat. I started like meeting with people because it was a clean slate, and I did get that kind of down. And she was kind of cute, but she wasn't Jewish. And I was like, at the time that mattered to me. And I was telling my dad, I'm like, I don't know if I am that into this girl or whatever. But it was such scarcity. I'm like, I got to lock something down.
Right.
And so I'm going to be a psychologist. I literally got into psychology in my major because I'm like, I need to understand people. Like, I don't get people.
Wow.
So I literally made that my major. Not because I'm like, this is a great career opportunity. I was just like, I just genuinely wanted to study it. And if I make a career, then I make a career. And I got this girl, Kat. You know, she was like, all right, you'll do. I'm like, all right. And it was whatever. And then we're in a bookstore. We're in Barnes & Nobles, and we're in the self-help section. And we're looking at like the sex, like Kama Sutra, and we're being stupid. We're like giggling at like, whatever. And then I see this like Bible-looking book like standing out. Like, honestly, if there's a movie in my life, this is cut scene. This book is like glowing, like calling me, like in this thing. I'm like, what is this? And like, I'm just reaching for it. And this is the most butterfly moment. This is the single biggest defining moment of my life in my mind. I reach for this book. I look at it. I'm like, this looks like the Bible. It's called The Game.
Oh my God.
Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists. I'm like, what? And I sat there for a second. I opened it. I read the first chapter right then and there. I was instantly hooked. I was like, what? Because after all this shit, I'm like, this is real.
You're how old right now at this point?
20.
You're 20.
I'm mid-20. It's a summer. I remember everything. At this point, everything's chronicled very detailed. It was literally the summer of me being 20 years old.
Yes, it was 2005 or 2006.
The summer of 2006.
Summer of 6, yeah.
Crap. So I read the first chapter, and I'm looking at Kat. I'm like, this book's do you know what this is? And she looks at it, and she reads a little bit. And she goes, I don't like that. And she's very smart of her.
Yeah.
She puts it away, and I'm like, no, I want it. And she's like, no, we're not reading it. I'm like, okay, honey, yes, honey. And then I left. The next day, I came back. I buy that book right then and there. I'm like, yo, I'm getting that book. I swear to God, it's a decent-sized book.
Yeah.
I stayed up all night. I read it in one sitting. One fucking sitting.
Like, boom.
I didn't go to sleep. One day of just, I couldn't put it down. And then I finally went to sleep, and then I probably reread it. The only book I probably read more than The Game is like Harry Potter. I probably read this book 10 times, 10, 12 times. And I would circle things and like the diagram, all this stuff. And I was just like, really, like, I couldn't fucking believe it. It was, and that changed everything.
Now, how far into or how far after discovering this document, right? This piece of literature.
The Bible. It was my Bible.
It was the Bible, which I think is kind of why Neil Strauss designed it that way, right?
Yeah.
To look like the Bible. Did you start actually putting into practice the strategies or concepts or ideas that were within it?
Almost immediately. And here's the problem. I'm 20 years old. I'm looking at these guys. These guys are going to bars and lounges and cool stuff. I'm like, I can't get in. I don't have ID. So John, who was with me at the prom date, my oldest friend, I go, we have to go. So there's probably like a week in, or the first week or the first month of me discovering it, I'm like, I have to use one of these things. Like this, I have the, like, I wanted to tell him like, bro, I uncovered the, like the secret stuff. I'm like, I got an opener, I've got these negs, and I got this cube, and we will get laid. I had a plan. Remember, it's like me, this is me again. Cube. This is me with the, which to this day, I still like the cube. I don't care. Fuck you, Albert. The cube is still good. It's my favorite thing still. It's one of my favorite routines. But so I am literally
for the listeners, a cube is basically it's an old routine where you describe, you ask the girl or the listener to describe a cube, and there's a series of details, and then those details basically formulate these cold reads you make on what the girl likes or her interests or her fears, but which is really cool. So okay, so you're armed with this stuff. This like,
that's all I got
bag
from the
of
book.
tricks.
Really, I got the book. I got an opener. I got like 2 or 3 negs, and I got like this cube thing. That's really all the book really gives you. It doesn't really give you too many. I mean, it gives you some cool things, you know, but like I don't really have them. But I'm like, I've got the secret sauce. This is all I need. I didn't even know there were like courses like to go meet, other than a boot camp, you know, like, to meet Mr. I didn't know there was like A1, A2, like I didn't even know there was a methodology. I just knew what this book was. So I asked Sean, I'm like, all right, where can we go where we can meet women? Because I never thought of this before. Like, and I don't know why college campus didn't come to my mind, because that would have been the looking back, that would be the obvious choice. But I'm like, no, it can't be in college. Maybe I was too scared. I was too intimidated by that. Because I go there. So I'm like, we have to go someplace else. And he goes, well, my parents are going to be at this cancer walkathon, and there's going to be girls our age there.
This is a great story.
Wow.
Yeah, so we should go and we can do this at a cancer walkathon. There'll literally be girls walking around, just walking in circles for charity, for cancer and all this shit. So I'm like, brilliant. This is my first ever cold approach. So I remember in a previous or future episode, however we air this, you know, Albert, we talked about how it was kind of a blend. You wait till the end of the night and whatever. Nah, bro. I never talked to a girl before. I never approached a random girl. This is something out of a James Bond movie. It like the glass shattered that this was even possible.
Right.
I literally thought like people don't do this. It'd be like, you know, like John Wick, like going up to people and like just beating them in fights and whatever. Like that's a movie.
Right.
To me now it's like, no, there's a secret society of like fighters who like go around and beat up people. I'm like, this is a thing. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna do my first cold approach. I'm like, John, you're gonna be with me. You're my wingman. We got this. So we're walking the circular path, and then 2 girls are coming towards us. And I like to say I was cocky over the arm. I had a plan, but I'm terrified. But I'm like, I'm not gonna chicken out. I know what to do. I'm pretty proud that my first ever approach I didn't chicken out of. Like
That's super impressive.
Yeah, like most guys, you know, whatever. So they're walking towards me, and I hit them with the only opener I can remember or know from the book, or the easy one. I go, hey guys, did you see that fight outside?
Oh my gosh.
And they just stop and look at me. And only then did it dawn on me 2 key things here. Number 1, we're already Number 1, we're already outside.
Did you see that fight outside while they're outside? Right?
What are you talking about? Number 2, we're at a cancer walkathon.
Oh my God.
So the look of concern.
Who's fighting at that? Did you hear about the throwdown at the cancer walkathon? People are throwing hands.
They're like,
for
what?
Cancer.
Yo, who's fighting? We have to stop this. So
these are the moments I love when you misapply things.
Oh my God. It was all I knew.
Yeah. What was their reaction?
They go, where? Where? Without even thinking, I swear to God, I panic. I go, there. I just point. I snap point in just a random direction. And they slowly...
Then he said, I got to get back to my friend.
In a couple seconds. I got to get back to my friend in a couple minutes.
I point in a random direction.
Where are your friends? There. The fight? There.
The fight? There.
He's just pointing it up.
Hey, at least I improv. At least I did something.
I didn't have that,
you couldn't improv. Yeah. So I point somewhere. They look where my finger goes. There's a fence and an empty grass field and not a single soul.
Oh my
There's
God.
nobody there. And they're just like, all right, buddy. And they just kept walking on.
You didn't go into the National Geographic movie?
I was mortified. I was mortified. I was really like, I'm like shaking. I was like shaking. John's like, I don't know what book you read. He's like, I don't know what the fuck.
You didn't tell him that you're gonna do that. You didn't tell me you're gonna do the.
No. He's just like, you got
Charlie Brown. He's like,
Charlie Brown.
I'm about to show off some badass trick.
And you told John you're coming in hot, like you're coming in confident.
Like
this is a game
your boy's
changer.
telling you, bro, I got some shit's gonna blow your mind. Watch this.
Let's go to a cancer fundraiser
That was his
where I'm
idea.
gonna.
In my defense, that was John's idea.
okay.
That was John's idea.
Everyone knows all the hot chicks are hanging out the cancer
Oh my
walk.
god, dude, this is awful.
All right, but here's where Charlie Brown gets his. This is what. This is the fire. That was the last ball taken away from me. This is where it finally turned. So I'm mortified, and I'm like, I was instantly like, the book lied. This is bullshit. I didn't understand calibration. I'm just like, this doesn't work. Like that was bad. And John, bless him, because honestly, if it wasn't for John, it would have ended right there. I would have just been done. I would have thrown the book in the trash and been like, this is all bullshit. He goes, bro, no. He was like, I can't believe you opened. He was just amazed that I approached.
Yes.
So even though I bombed, I'm mortified. He's like, I was like, your friend Andy, who like that was me to John. He's just like, that was the coolest shit ever. Bro, I know this girl, Michelle. She's like a friend of mine, whatever. Do something from the book with her. I'll introduce you. I'm like, I'm not approaching you. I'm not doing it. He's like, no, you don't even have to. I'll introduce you. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll try a neg or this cube thing.
Think about the scarcity there. He's like, John's like, I have one female friend. We have one remaining human that you could try this on.
And I do got to say that you took action. Me and Albert really didn't. We were very passive. We hid it from everyone. You were like taking action.
I had a plan.
He wanted it early. You wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And you had the awareness to at least recognize that you're like, I currently am the worst and I need to get a lot better.
I was the opposite of you growing up. I was egoless.
Right.
I knew I was garbage. I was being down my whole life. I'm like, I suck. I eat cock for breakfast. Like this is just like
I'm the worst.
I'm the worst. Like there was no disillusion. There was no hiding that. There was no pretending. There was no me trying to be cool. I'm clearly at the bottom of the totem pole. All I can go is up. So it's like, fuck it. Why not? I may as well. There's nowhere. I can't go.
You know what's great for him, Cosmo? What's great is he recognized rock bottom. And it's like there's nowhere to go but up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
and there's nowhere for you to hide because you were getting outside validation that you were a loser, right?
Everyone knows.
What your story is, everyone kept telling you how much of a loser you were. It's fucked up.
I had two friends kissing shots.
It's almost like they all like ganged up to like motivate you. Like, come on, man. Come on, dude.
Yes.
In a weird way. Yeah. I mean, look at thank you to all my bullies.
all our stories share trauma.
Yeah.
And you know it's funny that we can all pinpoint that moment when the trauma came in.
Right.
And it's really specific.
Well, this is where Charlie Brown gets us. This is my first experience of the magic. So he says, try something on Michelle, right? He introduced me to Michelle. And I'm just like, this is not going to go well. Not after this last, fight outside catastrophe. So he introduced me to Michelle, and I don't even know the full cube. I only know like the first three questions. It's like, how big is your cube? What color is it? Is it solid, or can you see through it? Right? And she goes, the cube is very big. It's pink and it's solid. I'm like, all right. So what this means about you is it's very big. It means you're a very confident, extroverted type person. It's pink, which means you're very nurturing, feminine energy. That's how you give off. It's the kind of energy you give off to the world, and you're probably you take care of your friends the best. And it's solid, which means a lot of layers to you. So probably only your really close friends know the real you. You're really good in these kind of social settings. I just stopped and looked at her. I shrugged. I'm like, just no. And she goes, that is so fucking true. Oh my God. You are so right. Stay right here. You have to do this to my friend Rachel. I have to get Rachel. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, get Rachel.
What are you feeling inside at this point?
Like bemusement? Honestly, it didn't hit yet. This isn't when it hit. I'm just like, yeah, get Rachel. I'm like, maybe this is a fluke. I don't know what's going on. I'm very confused. Confusion. She gets Rachel. I do it to Rachel. Rachel's like, you got to do this to my friend Sarah. We get Sarah. Before I know it, I'm sitting in the grass field in the center. This candy walk-on's going around me. I'm sitting in the grass field. There are 5 girls sitting around me in a U shape. I'm cubing them all. I'm like Cuban. I'm fucking mad. John's behind him going, like mouth dropped open, just like, what the fuck? Like, see me.
Wow.
And he knows me. He's just like, what is happening right now? And I'm like, I've never had this in my life. I had 5 girls sitting around me, hanging on my every word. Maybe that's why I live at Cube to this day. Like, I can't give it. Like, they're literally just hanging around my every word, sitting around me, just like, this is the most interesting. I could tell it was like the most interesting thing any guy's ever said to them. And I'm like, yo, what is happening? This is Harry Potter fucking magic right now. And I looked at John, I'm like, we're going out again. And I was hooked. It was a drug at that point.
When did you start getting good? If we fast forward to when you start actually going out and getting good, and what, you know, when did that happen?
Good. I mean, it was a slow. So I define great, like when I, like the height of my game took like 3 years.
From that moment that you just described, the you doing the cube, how many years later or months later did you have the ability to get dates? Did you have the ability to be, you know, yourself in social gatherings?
Well, in the beginning, again, I still had like 6 months until I was 21. So in the beginning, I would remember being in like Las Olas, meeting girls on the street and like entertaining and like get like hooking and entertaining them and getting some attraction built. And they're like, yeah, why don't you come into Fat Cats, you know, this bar right here. I'm like, no, why don't we just keep chilling here on the sidewalk? This is the place. And they're like, you don't want to get a drink. I don't want to tell them 21. I'm 20. Like, you don't want to get a drink? I'm like, I'm just chilling. You know, I couldn't go. I couldn't get it. So there was like this big barrier. And I hated daytime approaching. So probably 6 months to a year and of going out, like, because you couldn't keep it. At that point, I was so hooked. But I was also doing crazy shit. I got like a keychain lava lamp. It was like a little keychain that would flash different colors, and everything was like peacocking. So I'm like putting eyeliner on. I made it a necklace, this keychain. I found a boa. I imagine like a gay rock star explosion. That was me. I was a hodgepodge of randomness. I asked my mom to like kiss my neck, so there's lipstick on my neck.
Brent, what's the movie where they turn a ragtag bunch into like fake superheroes? And do you know what it is, Cosmo? And it
Fake superhero.
I don't know if you could look it up. That's what I
Kick-Ass?
Is it Kick-Ass? I think this is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Where like the dork all of a sudden puts on like a costume and he's like, I'm my own superhero now. This is how it sounds like.
That's how Psych was born.
And peacocking, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's when you dress over the top, you peacock, right? You dress very wildly, so women can come up to you and say, what are you wearing? What's that hat? That's, you know,
Mystery Men is the one I was thinking about too. Mystery Men, where they're superhero. So you're there. I can picture you in real time transforming from this dorky Jared in high school who's in the choir, who like probably didn't have great fashion, right, to like trying these outlandish things. Did you feel like that was like a way to shield yourself? Like you could turn on that character kind of in a way?
That's 100% what happened. So
That's a really good question.
In this 100%, bro, like in this community, we had our fake names, our handles. So I quickly, great, you know, John was great to begin with, but he wasn't obsessed with it like I was. He was just like, yo, I'll help you out a little bit, but like, this isn't totally my thing. I'm like, yo, you can't stop me. I need a wingman. I would find these like local groups, whatever, and you needed a handle. Right, so I was Psych, short for psychology. People actually really like the name. I'm just like, I'm not that creative. I'm into psychology, so I'm Psych.
It was a great name. I remember.
Yeah, people like people really like the name. I'm like, all right, cool, fuck it.
I thought Psych was a superhero from X-Men.
Cyclops. You're not wrong.
Okay.
I also like it for that reason, but it was spelled like psychology. So I quickly got this realization when I'm learning this stuff, learning these things, because I know Jarrett. You know, Jarrett sucks with women. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But I was creating this like new identity, Psych, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna pretend to be this, you know, the cool guy for the first time. I'm reading what the cool guy is. I have an archetype for it. I'm learning. So basically, I'm like, I had a different wardrobe. So when I opened my wardrobe, it was divided. There was Jarrett clothes, and like a small, like I guess a
Wow.
quarter of it was site clothes.
That's awesome.
Like the shoes, the jeans, like
You were Clark Kent and Superman, right?
Yes.
You were Clark Kent and Superman. And I remember actually to kind of touch back on Kosmo's journey, I remember the scene on The Pickup Artist where you literally are giving a confessional and you go, I am no longer Alvaro. I am Kosmo. Like, and I like related to that. My handle was Apollo when we first met. We knew as Apollo. And I think that I never really thought about it, but at the time, for all of us who were unhappy with our lives, our handle wasn't just a way to like mask our identity, but it was like a new version of ourselves that we could lean into.
The power names.
It was our superhero. It was the Spider-Man to our Peter Parker in a way, right?
100%.
So that's okay. So you had the site clothes and you had all the gadgets, right?
Bro, though, it was like looking back, it's so cringe. I will find you the photos. We're not posting them online, but I will find you the photos. Like the black nails, the pink boas or purple boas. I got this keychain thing. I guess I traded for a Harry Potter necklace, but like changing colors, LED belt buckle that something's like my eyes are up here or like below me or I don't know. I made it say different stuff.
He was so all in with this stuff. Like sometimes I didn't have the courage to pull it off. I didn't wear this stuff not because I didn't think it was effective. I was fearful of the judgment from others. If I tried like a hat or something like low key, but I was like, I can't do this, man. I'm like, I was too fearful for rejection. Whereas he's like, I got nothing else. I'm trying.
I didn't know any better. So I was told by this secret society, like I'm like, these are the cool people. In my mind, like the secret society of these pickup guys, right? Like they're the ones who've cracked the code. They know what's up. So they're the smart ones. Everyone else is, as you would call them, a fugazi. Right? So I remember clearly, this is how crazy it is. I remember clearly walking down looking like, again, a gay explosion of a rock star. And then a guy, like a normal, cool guy would look at me like, bro, you look gay in that. Like, he's like trying to help me or tease me, a little bit of both. Like, bro, like you look gay. And I'm like, what an AFC. Yeah, I'm like, what an idiot.
AFC is an average frustrated chump.
I'm like, but like that was my mentality. I'm like, this was an actual cool, well-adjusted guy. You know, like obviously knew what he was doing, but I'm like, he doesn't even know, bro. He doesn't even know. Like this is the shit. He's a normal like a nothing. Yeah. I'm the superhero right now. Right. And that was my mentality. So like why did I care about what they think? And again, I've always cared. I've always been the one. I've always been thought of negatively anyways, so I didn't have anywhere down to go. This could only put me up.
So what was your end game? What did you have? You seem like, throughout this journey, you always had a plan, right? What was your plan? What were you trying to achieve? What were you trying to get to?
That's a good question. I mean,
what was your goal?
The superpowers. In my mind, I'm like, this gives me control of my life for the first time. It was never to get laid. Honestly, it really wasn't about getting laid. It wasn't about the status. It wasn't about, I never really was about that. I mean, maybe some moments in my journey, I'm like, this is cool and whatever. It was always for me.
It seems pretty, can I try to guess this?
Sure.
I mean, hearing this, it seems pretty obvious to me. It seems like you wanted to be accepted finally. Seems like your whole story, everything I've been hearing is not accepted, not accepted. You can't walk in here. You're a loser. You're fat. Not accepted. And then finally, you get the attention. You get accepted by these girls that you're cubing them, all of them. And then 6 months later to a year, you're getting really good. And you're finally getting accepted by women, guys.
You wanted the lifetime pass to the cool club.
The cool club.
He wants a lifetime pass.
For people
beyond just getting accepted, and we went one step further. If I wanted to be the one doing the accepting or the rejecting.
Wow,
that's what I wanted.
You wanted to be the one doing the accepting.
Yeah, it wasn't even about being accepted. I'm like, fuck these guys. I wanted to be the one that's like, I either accept you or reject you. You don't accept or reject me. I accept or reject you. I wanted the control and the power for once.
Wow, I'm having a hard time tracking that because you getting rejected so much. How did you just spike up like that? Like
no, that's what I guess that would be the goal.
Okay, I see.
That was my goal. Like I'm like, it wasn't even like I wanted to be accepted and like win because I'd be like, I want to get laid, I want to get a date or whatever. I just wanted to be the one who's like, I'm the cool guy for once. I'm the one who's like, you're cool, you're not. I'm the one who's got like the secret knowledge. I'm the one.
I'm tracking now. Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I noticed one thing with you is that, I think all of us have it, and every person who is successful at what they do, they get obsessed with something. So I wanted to fast forward a little bit and talk about modern flirting and talk about how you were working with a dating coach and making barely any money, broke, and by yourself, you have built this empire. And again, you got obsessed. And here you are years later.
Still obsessed.
You build this from nothing.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap this up.
So the biggest wave was social circle. Like befriending girls, befriending guys. I had that, and that was where I really made it my own. And then from the business side of things, I guess old traumas, whatever. Because I worked for you knew me with Fuji back then. I worked under this Fuji guy who was like, he had Napoleon complex, tiny guy, ex-Marine, never let go of the Marine thing. Everything was decorated as Marine shit. Very intense. Made it seem like I'm your big brother. I'm gonna look after you. In reality, it was like an emotionally abusive relationship. He would always talk down on me, make me fearful of everything. He was, even when I did very well, would never like really pay me what I was worth, or limit me and what I could do. Like every micromanage the fuck out of me. Everything bad, right? So I'm at this point where it's like, all right, well, I have no way of making more money. Like I'm trying, and he's literally limiting what I can do. He's capping me. Even though I'm giving my all.
You're working as a dating coach.
I'm a dating coach, and I'm like, I want to do more. I'll do anything. And he's like, no, you let me. At one point, the camera broke the straw's back. He's like, I don't even think you're a good influence as a coach anymore. We're gonna put you on some plan to get you back to coaching. I'm like, you're gonna take coaching away from me? Go fuck. That was like, all right, that's the one thing I know I'm good at. Like, you can go fuck yourself. But I'm walking the street. I remember one time vividly. I'm like, I got $5,000 to my name. And I always grew up in a upper middle class. I can borrow money from my parents. I could get money from my parents if I really need to. They'd probably be like, you have to move back home, and it'd be ecstatic, which no. But like I had $5,000 to my name, and I'm $30,000 in debt all around. I remember looking at a homeless guy being like, yo, this guy's worth more than I am right now. He's doing better with his life, financially. Socially, I'm dominant. I got a relationship. I'm party king. I would get these like $5,000 tables for free because I knew everybody. I was like a celebrity, and I'm like, it was all based on lie. I'm like, I'm the poorest, high status guy in the world, right? It was like smoke and mirrors bullshit, right? I would see these guys with money and whatever. So finally, I had to stop. I quit the company, having no backup skills, no idea how to run a business. I couldn't be a psychologist. I gave that up. I didn't know where else to go.
So this is a version of what you experienced earlier in your life, right? You didn't have resources, you didn't have people around you. You turned that all around, and then you it sounds like you went from this guy who had nothing to becoming a dating coach and getting success in the business. Like you never really had another job, right? And then
I knew nothing about this.
And
this
then
was
now you've got to this point where you're like, it's make it or break it, and you're on your own again, right?
And it was like a gun in my head. It was like, you got to get this or you're going to die. Like I couldn't rely on anybody. There was more fear with the business one than it was with the girl. So origin of getting good with girls and the pickup stuff, whatever, was like hopeful and like, oh my God, I got a plan. This is gonna be amazing. Like, let's get obsessed. This was like, you will die if you don't do it. It's like a gun to your head. It's like the movie, Fight Club, where it's like, get this or I'm gonna murder you. And I'm like, oh my God, so you were with me in this time, right? I mean, there were 2 weeks where I'm panicking. I am having a nervous breakdown because I was belittled so much by this Fuji character to be like, you're worthless, you don't know shit, you've never had a real job, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you don't know how hard it is with a business, you would die in a corporate world. And I've been 8 years of this in my head. So I'm just like, this is, I'm so screwed. Literally, how long am I from? 4 years ago? Not even, less than 4 years ago. Yeah. Imagine this, less than 4 years ago, I'm considering being a barista at a Starbucks. Less than 4 years ago. I'm like, that's going to be my life. And if maybe every now and then time, maybe on the side, I'll find some student and get a I had no idea, right? And because I'm this guy who's like, I suck with technology. I break anything with technology. I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with people. I'm good with people. I'm not good with like anything business. I didn't even know who Gary Vee was. I had no idea who Grant Cardone was. Like I knew none of these, nothing. But then finally it kind of like hit. Well, number one, I'm like, I'm going to build a website. And I remember Albert goes out. It was like 10 p.m. And I'm on my computer like, I have to build a fucking website. Like, I don't know. I don't even know where the enter key is. I don't see any key. So, like,
You guys were living together at the time?
I was crashing. I'm like homeless.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I'm like crashing in his place.
I remember during this process, you're trying to figure out what am I going to do? What am I going to name this thing? You're looking up different ideas and concepts.
Yeah.
That's so cool, Albert. You were there to witness the actual birth of it. Like, as one of Jared's best friends, you were like literally were right there.
Yeah, I'm watching him go through the struggle of can I do it? And again,
What did you think? I'm curious because obviously I made it and we made it successful. But you knew me back then too and knew that I was kind of incompetent with this stuff. Like, what was honestly, like, you straight up, like, if you were back then, what would you have bet on? Like, what were you thinking?
I think knowing you, and for the listeners who've tracked this your life, man, like think about it. I think it's a pattern in your life where you have a need and you have a deficiency, and you fucking jump in with both feet, and you find a way to get it done, right? And you're the epitome. The reason we want to talk about earlier about your adoption and your background and your life is like, dude, you're Rudy. You're the underdog story that always makes it. Like you always overachieve in every aspect of your life. And at the time, sometimes I see you, because I was interested to hear this version of your story with Pickup, the exuberance you had, because I didn't see that. You're right. I saw fear. I saw anxiety. Yeah. I saw a little bit of panic in you.
So much for the business.
For the business, right? When your former, and that's all you had known. Like, you and I worked together in the early days when we first started as a coach, and you never left the industry. I was out of the industry for many years until you brought me back in, and we decided to do things together for Modern Flirting. But this is all you had known. And now I felt like you were back on the street again. Like you were
literally, I was.
And then I didn't know what was going to happen, dude. If I told you like I knew Jared was going to win, I'd be lying to you. But I knew that you would go all in and go all out to make something work. I didn't know what that something was going to be.
Right.
I didn't know if you would just do, like you said, small one-on-one coaching, maybe become like just a high-end guy because I knew you had the knowledge and the ability to do it. But I think you took on the idea. This is what I saw. I saw him take on business with a passion and the fire that he took on learning social dynamics and pickup skills.
Correct.
That, and even at one point I was so confused because it's like what we talk about when people change. You're like, what did you change?
What are you
into?
doing? Yeah.
I'm like, I asked him something. I asked Jared. I asked you something, and I was like, what do you want to do about this and that? He goes, dude, all I care about is business right now. Like, I don't care about anything. I don't care about, and it really did. Like, you didn't even really, you just were like laser focused on taking the information you had in your brain, the lessons you had learned throughout being in the industry for over a decade, right? And
I got new mentors.
Yeah.
I was literally like, I needed my version of the industry or the community for entrepreneurship. So I'm like, who are the mentors? Who are the guys I can find? What can I read? What is the material? Marketing, sales, operations, all of it. Like, I gotta build this thing. I gotta, like, what equipment do I need? Like, everything. I had to learn from scratch. And I'm like, well, here's why. So it was bad. I want to say I was suicidal, but like it crossed my mind. Let's put it that way. Like, I was really like, this is bad. And I was sleeping in like Brandon's bed or something, like fetal position, like all freaked out. And then after 2 weeks, I had 2 weeks of full panic of just, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to be a barista at Starbucks. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm going to live off my parents forever. And then a voice came. Finally, the thought I needed finally came and said, bro, you did it with Pickup.
right.
Like, you've already done this. You've already did something from scratch. This is different, granted. But you've already done. If you can do that, why not just do what you did again? And I'm like, I'm all in. Let's do it. And then I got calmed down. I'm like, let's just get to work. And then the first thing I did was I built a website. And I remember getting my laptop out, even though I'm like, I don't know anything about technology. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it. I Googled. I started at 8 p.m. And then Albert's getting ready. I remember he's going out for the night. He's like, you want to go out and grab a beer, brother? Feel good? I'm like, nope. I got to build a website. 'Cause I'm like, website is, which now is the most dumbest thing ever. I'm like, it's meaningless. But at the time, I'm like, that's the only business thing I know. Have a website, which my marketing guy's laughing at that, which is, it's so stupid. But I'm like, oh, whatever. This is how I'm going to start. And then Albert comes home at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever the fuck.
Who knows?
And I'm still going.
Hard to tell me.
Do you remember that? Like I'm still going on, like still building this thing. I refuse to stop. It was like me when I read the book, The Game, the first time. Like I stayed up all night building this stupid fucking website that's meaningless now. But now it's gotten better. It's new iterations. But in the beginning, I'm like, I just need something.
But you put the first stone down in the building that you were building.
And then it was just, after that, it was just full steam ahead. I got a course, Sam Ovens, the first business mentor, first everything was from Sam Ovens. I thought it was a great start. It's not the end all be all, but it was a really great start. And I just consumed his material, and I just kept going. And I really think, we put it this way, right? Look at the pickup. I said 3 years for me to get like really good or whatever. We've been about 3.5 years with Modern Flirting, and I think we're one of the juggernauts in this industry at this point. And the cool thing about this, unlike the pickup stuff, like, cool with Social Circle, but at some point you just plateau and you just how many girls can you get, and like what are you really gonna do, right? The cool thing with this is, I still feel that that feeling of this is just a tip of the iceberg, because now the cool thing was back then with the pickup stuff, it was all me, and yes, I had to do everything. I had Albert as a wingman and other guys as a wingman, but now I got guys like, you two on the team. I got other juggernauts around me. I got, Brent on the team. I got sales staff on the team. I got Phil, the operations genius, on the team, right? So now it's like, holy shit, it's not just a me thing anymore. And now I'm like, I really don't know how big this is going to get. But that's exciting and it's fun, and this never ends, so... Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, true underdog story. I feel like we all have them. Like, this is 3 movies right here, 3 different movies.
Right? That came together.
Yeah, dude. This is a movie.
Might be your next film project.
We should literally fund a movie and I'll play you.
You play Jared.
I would love for that to happen. Like,
that would be insane.
Like, literally, I have so many like scenes in my head about like, this is a movie. And then we put based on a true story. Dude, amazing, bro. Thank you so much for being honest, authentic, and for anyone watching out there that is going through trauma and, going through a dark time, I think that is what, builds a lot of character, and a lot of amazing, beautiful things come out of that.
Now when I'm dealing with trauma, I just have Albert's voice in my head saying, eat cock.
Eat cock.
And it snaps me back.
Eat cock.
All right, guys. So we're going to end this episode on that note. Thank you so much for that, man. That was amazing. Yes, Albert?
Please give us 5 stars on Spotify. Or what is it?
We got to stop doing this. At the end of every episode, we keep forgetting.
I know, whatever. You know what? No, give me 1 star. Don't don't comment, hate on me. No, we appreciate you guys so much. Whatever you guys can do. I love, honestly, if my story resonated with you in any way, I would love to see how in the comments, and if
leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes. Please just engage with us. And thank you so much for listening and listen to Jared's story. Jared, that was awesome, man.
Thank you, man.
Much love, guys.